English Journey Podcast.
Let's go. Hey, hello everyone. Welcome back to the English Journey Podcast. I'm Emma, and I am so happy to have you here with us today. Whether you are listening on your way to work, at the gym, or just relaxing at home, we're glad you tuned in.
That's right. Hello, guys. I'm Jack. It's great to be back. And honestly, Emma, I'm really excited about today's topic. I think it's something every single English learner deals with, no matter what level they are.
Oh, absolutely. Today isn't about grammar rules or long vocabulary lists. Today, we are talking about confidence, specifically how to build confidence to improve your English skills. Because, let's be honest, you can know all the words in the dictionary, but if you're too scared to use them, well, it doesn't really help, does it?
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head. I remember when I first started learning a second language, I would freeze, like completely freeze. I knew the sentence in my head, but my mouth just wouldn't move.
Yeah, I know that feeling. It's like your brain just shuts down, right?
Totally. It's frustrating. So in this episode, we're going to break down why that happens and, more importantly, how to fix it. We want to help you feel good when you speak.
Right. We want you to speak freely without worrying about every little mistake. So, Jack, let's start with the big question. Why do we lose confidence? Why do we get so nervous?
That's a good question. I think, well, for most people, it's the fear of making mistakes, We're so afraid of looking silly.
Looking silly or sounding stupid.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we think everyone is judging us. If I say he go instead of he goes, I feel like everyone will laugh at me, which is usually not true, actually.
That is such a good point. To be honest, most people are actually very kind. When you speak to a native speaker or even another learner, they usually just want to understand the message. They aren't grading your grammar like a teacher.
Right. But it's hard to remember that in the moment, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. I mean, think about it. When we are children, we make mistakes all the time. We say funny things, we use the wrong words, and nobody cares. We just keep talking. But as adults...
As adults, we have an ego.
Yes, we have an ego. We want to be perfect. And that desire for perfection is actually the enemy of fluency.
I love that. Perfection is the enemy of fluency. That's a quote for Instagram right there. But seriously, it's true. If you wait until your sentence is perfect before you speak, you will be silent for a long time.
Exactly. So for our listeners right now, if you are nodding your head, if you're thinking, yes, that is me, please know that you are not alone. This is a universal feeling. It happens to everyone.
It really does. Even native speakers make mistakes,
Oh, constantly. I trip over my words all the time.
See? So the first step to building confidence is just accepting that mistakes are going to happen. They're part of the process. They're actually good.
Yeah, I think they are good. Because a mistake shows that you're trying, you're pushing your limits. If you never make a mistake, it probably means you're only using very simple sentences that you already know perfectly. You aren't growing.
That is a really healthy way to look at it. So we need to change our mindset. Instead of thinking, I hope I don't make a mistake, we should think, I'm going to communicate my idea, and if I mess up, I mess up.
Precisely. It's about communication, not perfection. I have a friend who speaks very broken English. His grammar is, well, it's not great, but he is so confident. He just talks and laughs and uses his hands, and you know what? Everyone loves talking to him.
I bet. Because he's relaxed, right? And when he's relaxed, the listener is relaxed.
Yes, that is key. If you look nervous and terrified, the person listening to you starts to feel stressed too. But if you smile and just keep going, the conversation flows.
So step one is accepting imperfection. But that's easier said than done, Emma. How do we actually practice that?
Well, that brings us to our next point, how to practice speaking without that pressure. But before we dive into the specific techniques, I want to ask you, Jack, when did you start feeling truly comfortable speaking? Was there a specific moment?
Let me think about that for a second. I don't think it was one specific moment. It was more of a gradual shift. But there was one habit I changed that helped a lot.
Oh, tell us.
I stopped apologizing.
You stopped apologizing. What do you mean?
Well, I used to start every conversation by saying, "I'm sorry, my English is bad," or "sorry for my mistakes."
Ah, yes. I hear that so often.
Right? And when I did that, I was telling my brain, "You are bad at this." And I was telling the listener, "Expect bad English." It set a negative tone immediately, so I just stopped saying it.
That is fascinating. So you just stopped saying sorry, just like that?
Yeah, pretty much. It was weird at first. I felt like I should warn people, you know? But when I stopped doing it, I noticed something amazing. People treated me like a normal person, not like a student. They just listened to what I was saying instead of focusing on how I was saying it.
I love that. It's almost like fake it until you make it. Even if you don't feel confident inside, acting confident changes how people react to you. And that, in turn, actually makes you feel more confident. It's a positive cycle.
Exactly. It really is. And you know, Emma, this leads us to another huge part of building confidence. We talked about mindset, but we also need to talk about expectations.
Oh, expectations. This is a big one. I think a lot of our listeners put way too much pressure on themselves.
Definitely. I mean, tell me if this sounds familiar. A student says, "My goal is to speak English perfectly," or "My goal is to sound like a native speaker."
Yes, I hear that almost every day. And to be honest, it breaks my heart a little bit because that is such a high mountain to climb.
It is. It's huge. And when your goal is that big, every time you make a small mistake, you feel like a failure. You feel like you aren't making progress.
Right. It's like trying to run a marathon without training. You're just going to get tired and give up. So, what should they do instead?
Well, I'm a big fan of micro goals, or what I like to call small wins.
Small wins. I like the sound of that. Can you give us an example?
Sure. So instead of waking up and saying, "Today I will be fluent," you say, "Today I'm going to go to the coffee shop and I'm going to order my drink in English and I'm going to ask the barista how their day is." That's it.
That's a great example because it's specific, right? It's something you can actually do.
Exactly. And here is the important part. If you do it and you get your coffee and the barista understands you, that is a win. You succeeded. It doesn't matter if you forgot an article or used the wrong tense. You communicated. You won.
Yes, and you need to celebrate that. I think we forget to celebrate. We focus so much on what we didn't know that we ignore what we did do correctly.
Totally. We are our own worst critics. I remember once I was traveling and I had to ask for directions to the train station. I was so nervous. I prepared the sentence in my head for 5 minutes.
Oh, the mental rehearsal. I do that too. Excuse me, where's the station? Excuse me, where's the station?
Exactly. So finally, I walked up to a guy and asked him, and he just pointed and said, "2 blocks that way." And that was it. The conversation was 5 seconds long, but I walked away feeling like a superhero.
A superhero. That's the feeling we want.
Yeah, I was like, I did it. I survived. And that little boost of confidence lasted all day. It made me want to talk to more people.
And that is the secret, isn't it? Success builds confidence. So if you set small goals that you can actually achieve, you'll get those little hits of dopamine, those little good feelings, and that encourages you to keep going.
Precisely. So for everyone listening, I want you to think about your next 24 hours. What is one small, tiny thing you can do in English? Maybe it's sending a text message to a friend. Maybe it's leaving a comment on a YouTube video. Hint, hint.
Yes, leave a comment on our channel. That counts as practice.
It definitely does. Or maybe it's just reading one page of a book out loud. Just one page.
Speaking of reading out loud, That is actually a really interesting technique for confidence, isn't it? Because you don't have to think about what to say. You just focus on producing the sound.
Yeah, it removes the pressure of creating sentences. It's like training your mouth muscles.
It is. It's like gym class for your mouth. Sometimes I feel like my tongue is clumsy when I speak a new language, like it doesn't want to go to the right place.
Oh, for sure. It's a physical skill. We often think language is just mental, just in the brain, but it's physical too. You have to train your muscles to make those sounds.
So, if you are reading out loud in the privacy of your own room, nobody can hear you. You can make mistakes, you can stumble, but you're getting used to the sound of your own voice in English.
That's a really deep point, actually, getting used to the sound of your own voice. I think a lot of people feel like they sound like a different person when they speak English.
Yes, I've had students tell me, I feel like a child, or I lose my personality.
That's a really common struggle. In your native language, you're funny, you're smart, you're quick, but in English, at the beginning, you feel slow. You feel a bit boring, right?
Yeah, maybe a bit boring, but that's just temporary. It's just a phase. And I think practicing alone, talking to yourself, or reading out loud helps bridge that gap. It helps you accept this English version of yourself.
I agree. I actually used to talk to myself in the shower.
In the shower.
Yep, the acoustics are great. You sound like a professional speaker in the shower.
The echo helps.
It does. But seriously, I would have imaginary conversations. I would pretend I was being interviewed on a talk show.
No way. I used to do that too. I would pretend I was a famous actress giving an interview.
See, we're all the same, but it works because you're practicing the flow of conversation without the risk of embarrassment.
So, Jack, you mentioned talking to yourself in the shower, which is hilarious, by the way, but it actually leads into a really important topic: preparation.
Oh, definitely. Preparation is like a safety net, isn't it? It gives you that initial boost to actually open your mouth.
It does, but, and there is a big but here. Have you ever prepared a sentence perfectly? You walk up to someone, you say it, and then they respond with something you didn't expect?
Oh man, every single time. It's like you prepared for a game of tennis and they start playing football. You're just standing there with your racket like, wait, what?
Exactly. And that's when the mind blank happens. Your brain just goes white. No words, no thoughts, just dial tone.
It's the worst feeling. Your heart starts beating fast and you feel like everyone is staring at you while you struggle to find a basic word like bread or tomorrow.
Right. So, how do we handle that? Because that moment, that silence, is where most people lose their confidence. They think, I can't do this, and they want to run away.
Well, the first thing I realized is that silence feels much longer to you than it does to the other person. To you, it feels like an hour. To them, it's just a 2-second pause.
That's so true. We are very sensitive to our own silence.
Right. But my favorite trick, and this is something native speakers do all the time, is using fillers or discourse markers.
Oh, like, well, and let me see?
Exactly. I mean, think about it. If I ask you a difficult question in your own language, do you answer instantly with a perfect sentence?
No, of course not. I'd probably say, that's a good question. Let me think.
Precisely. And learners often feel like they aren't allowed to do that in English. They feel like they have to be a machine. But using those little phrases actually makes you sound more natural.
I totally agree. It gives your brain a few extra seconds to find the word you need. Instead of a dead silence, which feels awkward, you fill the space with thinking noises.
Right. So instead of just stopping, you can say, "What's the word I'm looking for?" Or "How can I put this?"
Yeah, or even just, actually, wait a second. It shows the other person that you are still there, you are still in the conversation, you're just processing.
Exactly. And it's funny because when you use those phrases, you actually sound quite advanced. If you say, "To be honest, I've never really thought about that before," that sounds much more fluent than just saying, "I don't know."
Oh, absolutely. It's like a fluency hack. It's a way to buy time while looking like you know exactly what you're doing.
Fake it till you make it, right?
Always. But seriously, Jack, what about when the word just doesn't come? You've used your fillers, you've said, let me think, but the word is just gone, totally forgotten.
Ah, the lost words scenario. Honestly, I think the best thing to do is to describe it. Don't get stuck on the specific word.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Let's say I forgot the word for, I don't know, refrigerator. Instead of stopping the whole conversation to try and remember refrigerator, I just say, the cold box in the kitchen where we keep the milk.
Right. And the other person will immediately say, oh, the fridge? And you say, yes, the fridge.
Exactly. They help you. People love to help. It makes the conversation a team effort instead of a solo performance.
I love that. A team effort. That takes so much pressure off the speaker. You don't have to carry the whole conversation by yourself.
Not at all. And sometimes if you really can't find the word, it's okay to just laugh and say, I'm having a total brain fart. I forgot the word.
Brain fart. That's a great one. It's a bit informal, but it really breaks the ice. It shows you have a sense of humor about your learning.
Yeah, and being able to laugh at yourself is like a superpower for confidence. If you aren't embarrassed by your mistakes, then mistakes lose their power over you.
That is a very powerful thought. If you aren't afraid of the worst case scenario, which is forgetting a word or making a mistake, then you can talk to anyone.
Exactly. Because what's the worst that can happen? You forget a word, you describe it, you both laugh, and you move on. No one gets hurt.
Exactly. The English police aren't going to come and arrest you.
No, they really aren't. Though sometimes I think students feel like they are hiding in the shadows.
They really do. So use your fillers, use your descriptions, and don't be afraid to ask for help. It's all part of being a confident communicator.
Well said, Emma. So what's next? We've talked about mindset and handling the blanks. What about the environment?
Ah, yes. Where you practice matters just as much as how you practice. Let's talk about that in the next part. So, Jack, we've covered a lot today, from changing our mindset about mistakes to using fillers when our brains go blank. It's been quite a journey.
It really has. But Emma, I think the most important thing for our listeners to take away is that confidence is like a muscle. You aren't born with it, you build it by using it every day.
I love that. A muscle. And just like the gym, the first few times you lift a weight, it feels heavy and awkward. But after a month, it feels light.
Exactly. So for everyone listening on the English Journey podcast, don't wait until you feel ready to speak. If you wait until you're ready, you'll be waiting forever. Start before you are ready.
That is such great advice. Start small, start messy, but just start. You know, one thing I always tell my students is to find a safe space. Maybe it's a language exchange group, a friendly coworker, or even just talking to your pet in English.
Haha, definitely. My dog is the best listener I know. He never corrects my grammar.
Right? He just wants the treats. But seriously, finding people who support you makes a world of difference. When you feel safe, your brain relaxes. And when your brain relaxes, the English just flows.
It really does. And hey, if you're listening to this right now, you're already doing the work. You are immersing yourself. You're listening to natural conversations, and you're investing in yourself. That's a huge win.
It really is. We are so proud of you for taking this step today. Remember, every and I forgot the word is a step closer to fluency. Don't let the fear of being imperfect stop you from being heard.
Well said, Emma. I think that's a perfect place to wrap things up for today.
I agree. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the English Journey podcast. We hope you're feeling a little bit more inspired and a lot more confident.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It's been a blast. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our next conversation. We have so much more to share with you.
Absolutely. We'd love to hear from you too. What's one small goal you're setting for yourself this week? Let us know. But for now, Keep practicing, keep dreaming, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye, everyone. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Let's continue your English journey together. Subscribe for more lessons and watch this video next to practice your listening.